everyone, this is Sally from Sally Smiles Handmade. Today I'm going to show you how I made these cards. I call them confidence creatures, and the backstory is that I wanted to make something with this eye, and I was going to call it a monster. I thought that had too much of a negative connotation, so then I was going to call them fear eaters. And I got the idea that that's a little negative too. So then I said they'll be confidence creatures, because if you give this to someone, they'll eat the fear and leave nothing behind except courage and confidence. And that's how the idea for the confidence creature was born. I'll take you through the steps and show you how I made this. Hope you enjoy watching. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is make the eye, because it's going to have to dry. So these are cabochons that I bought either from the dollar store or Joann's. They're glass. They have an oval on it, and they make a nice covering for the eye because they give it that rounded shape and they give it some depth. So I'm going to pick out some nice round ones. I think I'll use those. And then I've been collecting up pictures either on the internet or for one project I actually even took a picture of my own eye outside, and then I cut it down and shrink it on the computer to 0.7. Seems to be the right size for these, and I'm going to cut them out. And then with just any kind of a glue stick, I'm going to stick them to the back and get them drying while we prepare some of the other pieces. Let's get a nice bunch of glue on there. Stick it to the back and let it dry. I'm going to prepare the background fabric, and we're going to make it a little bit sturdier with Pellon Craft Fuse 808. And I also need a piece for the fur, the back of the fur. So I'm going to cut one at 6.5 by 4.5 and one at 5.5 by 3.5. I need 2 rectangles, and I'm going to cut that now. This is a heavy black canvas that I'm going to use for the background, and I'm fusing it more to make the shape and make it a little bit sturdier to sew on. But that's going to be the exact background of my card, and I'm going to fuse it on by just patting rather than moving the iron. And now I'll cut it out. Okay, I'm just finishing up cutting the background fabric to shape. And I'm going to pick sentiments for the bottom. I usually put the sentiments on last, but in this case, when I put my creature on, I want to make sure that the fur kind of covers the phrase or saying that I put under here, but not quite. So to be able to measure it, I'm going to put the sentiment on first. So I cut strips. These are 1 inch in height in white, and then I cut these. They're about somewhere between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. So this is from Tim Holtz. It's small talk. It's got phrases and sayings and just text on it. I could easily make different fonts on my computer, and I even have a stamping pad, but I treated myself to these because you know, they're ready-made and nice. And I'm going to go through it and see what phrases might fit the theme that I'm going for and stick them on. I've got some tacky tape on the back, and I'm putting them in place. And then I'm going to sew around here with my longest stitch with this bright green. And you could see when I'm done, I bring the threads to the back and tie them there rather than go, you know, back and forth to end my stitching. Just makes a cleaner finish in the front. All right, my text is on the background and sewn down. So those are prepared, and I'm gonna put them aside. Now with the other pieces of fusible Pellon that we cut out, I'm going to cut out this shape. Now this is my pattern that I made. You can see it's kind of like the shape of a ghost. He's 3¼ inches high, and that works out perfectly for me. I found the center here and made a hole, so I know later that'll be helpful when we place the eye. So what I'm going to do is cut out these and then fuse it onto the back of Okay, so I'm checking to see which way the fur goes. There's an actual grain to this. You want to make sure it's going down. And I'm checking to look for the shiny side, and that's the side with the glue on it. So that goes down. And I'm going to fuse this to the back of the fabric with a hot iron, but I'm going to do it really fast because I'm not exactly sure if this stuff would melt or not. So I'm just tapping to get it on there nice and quick. And now we'll cut it out. I'm back at the sewing table, and I'm going to cut out my shapes. And there's a trick to cutting these out. You want to use your pointiest and sharpest scissors. And then when you go, you want to take little snips, little bites. Slowly but surely work your way around. And try to keep your scissor like pointed up and not down, because you don't want to disturb any of the fur that's going to make the sides look finished. So you see, I'm just taking little bits, and then I'll show you as you go along. You see, you'll get the nice edge where his hair doesn't stop abruptly. All right, I'm going to go all the way around, and then I'll come back. All right, so they're all cut out, and I've got the straggly ends that I want. And now I'm going to, believe it or not, give these guys a good brushing. Make the hair look nice. And do you remember when I said to find the center on your pattern? And this is where that becomes very helpful. I'm going to put this on the back and put a pin through. And now that's the center of his face. So I'm going to brush all the hair away. And I'm going to pause for a second because I've got to go find my strongest glue. And we are going to glue down the eye. Okay, hold on a second. All right. Now I'm using a stronger glue because these are kind of heavy, and I want to make sure that they stay on. And I'm doing a nice thorough coating. And now that I know where the center is because of the pin, I've brushed the hair into a star shape all around it. And I'm going to put that there and press it down. Just wait a few seconds. And I'm going to wait for this to dry before we go to the next step. So I'm going to pause the tape and go pick my coordinating threads because we're going to sew these guys onto the background next. Alright, the glue on the eye has dried. It's nice and sturdy in there. And now these guys get another combing. And what I'm doing now is making sure all the hair is out of the way, because what I'm going to do is put them on the background with some tacky tape, and then with my widest width stitch, I'm going to zigzag all around here with a thread that blends in. So you see we have to tuck the hair out of the way and just catch the edge all around. So I'm going to speed it up, let you see how I do that. We're almost finished now. The last thing I want to do is to further enhance the eye a little bit by embellishing it with beads. So I came up through the bottom and I'm trying to get enough beads onto the string that it would pretty much just exactly encircle the eye. And then I'm going to tack it down. Whoa, that's too many. Take a couple off. I'm going to tack it down like maybe after every third or fourth bead, and then I'm going to attach it onto our card. And here I am combing this guy's hair again. It seems like all I'm doing with this project is combing the hair either one way or the other, but we have to keep making sure it's out of our way for what we're trying to get done. So I'm leaving him like this, all tucked up, because now we're going to put tacky glue on the back and put it onto the card, and I'm going to do a blanket stitch all the way around, and that'll be our last step. So we're done. We've sewn the background to the card, and the stitching shows on the inside. And all we've got to do is one last grooming to this guy. If you want, you can make him have legs. And it's ready to give to you someone special. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me make these cards as much as I enjoyed making them. These really are fun to make. And I hope I've given you some ideas on how to make your own confidence card. Right, bye now. See you next time.